Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome once again to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/NoDQCAW. Still a lot of news going on in WWE right now, coming off SummerSlam, Raw, and SmackDown. Got a lot of questions here, trying to catch up on things, get back to the norm. So let's get right down to it. First one today comes from VKRX Skills. Hey Aaron, because Darren Young came out, do you think we will see a push for him? Well, WWE is already starting to give the primetime players a renewed push. They got a big win on Monday night, and it appears that they are now, in fact, babyfaces. So WWE is definitely trying to capitalize on the news and all the publicity they got. You know, Darren Young will be doing all these various appearances, you know, the Be a Star campaign and all that. So, you know, WWE is going to try and make something out of this, and I don't blame them. I mean, I would definitely push him as well and try to make the most out of it. So, I mean, perhaps Darren Young did this at the right time, you know, with the TMZ cameras conveniently there SummerSlam weekend. But whatever the case is, it's definitely something that I think will be good for his career. And, you know, they did get a pretty good pop on Raw, I thought. I mean, there was definitely no negative chants, you know, none of the anti-gay chants towards Darren Young. When they came out, it was a very positive reaction. So, you know, things are looking good, and we'll see what happens with them and see if they continue to build momentum as a tag team as babyfaces. All right, this one comes from Paul Heyman Guy 18. Hey, Aaron, what do you think of Brooke Hogan being released from TNA, and what does it mean for Hulk Hogan staying there? Well, it's definitely a step in the right direction. To be honest, Brooke Hogan had no business being in TNA. It was clear from day one that she was brought in as a favor to Hulk Hogan because she is his daughter, and that was a way for her to get TV time and something for her to do. But, you know, she admitted herself she was never a fan of wrestling growing up. You know, she knows the wrestlers and she knows the business because she grew up in it, but it's not something that she was really a fan of. So, you know, that was a problem right there, and, you know, her performances were pretty bad on TNA, but, yeah, I mean, it could be a sign that things are starting to go south with Hulk Hogan and TNA, and things are starting to sour. I mean, time will tell, but, you know, Hulk Hogan, I believe his deal is up in October, and, you know, WWE 2K14 has Hulk Hogan in the game, and he's being marketed as being one of the superstars you can play in the 30 years of WrestleMania mode. So that could mean something. And, you know, WrestleMania 30 is coming up. Wouldn't surprise me to see Hulk Hogan make a play at WWE and try to work something out with them and get into the WrestleMania storylines or whatever. So, yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see what happens with Hulk Hogan in the next couple of months. Maybe he feels that, you know, things are getting bad in TNA and it might be time to try to get out and try to get on good terms with WWE again. I mean, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, but I really think that Hulk Hogan needs to be gone from TNA if they're going to have any kind of long-term future, any kind of upward momentum. So that's just my opinion there. All right, this one comes from Craig C88. Hey Aaron, big fan from Scotland. Are you surprised Randy Orton has been given the WWE title and complete on-air backing from the McMahons, considering the number of wellness policy violations that he has? Is WWE setting themselves up for a big fail? Thanks. I've got a lot of questions about this. A lot of people asking me what's going to happen if Randy Orton fails has another wellness policy violation. And, you know, under the terms, if he fails a third time, they have to fire him. They have to let him go. So, you know, a lot of people speculated that that was a reason why Orton hadn't been world champion or WWE champion in the past year or two because of that that second violation. I think for them to put the title on him at this point means that they are confident that there will not be any issues with him. And, you know, he's making a lot of money in WWE. So, you know, it's in his best interest not to screw up. A lot of money's on the line. And, He's a professional, and I think that he'll stay out of trouble. I really don't see him getting a third strike. Now, if he does, I'm sure WWE has a backup plan. I mean, anything could happen. Randy Orton could get injured. I mean, anybody could get hurt. Anybody could be arrested for whatever reason. Something could happen. So I'm sure WWE has got a backup plan just in case something happens with Randy Orton and they can go in a different direction. You know, let's just say he did get a third wellness strike and they had to let him go. I'm sure that they would do some sort of match where he would drop the title and then he would be done. So, you know, I think they'll be okay regardless of what happens. But my guess is that, you know, he'll be okay. And I don't think WWE would have gone with him as champion if they didn't feel confident that he'll stay in good shape and stay out of trouble. All right, this one comes from JMSVLSTRS. Hey Aaron, of all the moves Cena did to try and get the pinfall on Daniel Bryan, it only took a pedigree and what seems to be a very long time between the finisher and Orton's pin. I thought it made Cena and Bryan look weak. What did you think? You know, of all the comments that I've heard about SummerSlam, you know, that was one of the one criticisms from people of that finish and that big storyline. The fact that Triple H hit the pedigree and Daniel Bryan was seemingly dead from it, and like something like 20-30 seconds passed, but it felt like a really long time from when Triple H hit the pedigree to the point where Randy Orton pinned him. You know, you could argue that Daniel Bryan just went through this difficult match with John Cena, and it was an epic match, and you know, all it would take would be one finisher to put him out for good. But yeah, I could also see the other side where, you know, they could have had Daniel Bryan kick out from the pedigree and have Orton do the punt or something to finish him off. But, you know, Triple H's pedigree is deadly. I mean, it's the pedigree. It is one of the top finishers of all time, at least according to Triple H. So it is what it is. You know, to me, it's nitpicking to complain about that. I just thought that they did a great job with that angle, and you know, I'm one to overlook it and just not make a big deal out of it. You know, didn't really bother me all that much that they didn't have Bryan kick out of the pedigree and then have Orton do something else. I didn't see an issue with that, really. All right, here. Ziggy Fan. Hey, Aaron, love the show. Please answer in video. How long do you think the Wyatt family will go on? Well, I think it's a little bit too early to tell. Here's one thing I noticed from SummerSlam and Raw. The crowd absolutely loves the intro. When they come out, the crowd is clapping along to the music, and you know, the people are really into it. But once the matches got going, the crowd wasn't into it all that much. With the Ring of Fire, because of the whole fire thing, you know, people were more into it, but the Raw match, the crowd was actually quite dead for Bray Wyatt versus R-Truth, and that was a short match too. You know, the crowd just, you know, once the music stopped and the match started, you know, they stopped reacting. You know, it kind of reminded me of an Attitude Era type gimmick where the crowd cheers for the intro and then they don't really care about the wrestling. You know, that's something that I saw with the Wyatt family, but it also could be the fact that Bray Wyatt has just debuted and fans aren't used to him yet and they're not familiar with his moveset. So perhaps over time you'll see the fans get into his matches more. That's why I say it's really too early to tell. But yeah, I mean, if the crowd doesn't start reacting to him in a couple of months, that could be a sign that this is just going to be something that will work on a short-term level and it's not going to be a long-term gimmick. All right, last one today comes from Aliv705. What was a better overall show, WrestleMania 29 or SummerSlam from this year? In my opinion, SummerSlam by a mile. SummerSlam was a tremendous pay-per-view based on just the two main event matches alone. And, you know, like I said in the SummerSlam review video, I thought that the world title match was pretty good. and you know, the undercard could have been better. WrestleMania 29, you had one great match, Undertaker, CM Punk, and everything else I thought was a letdown. I thought that the main event, Rock and Cena, was a huge letdown, and the rest of the card just didn't live up to the expectations one would have for WrestleMania, something that's supposed to be the Super Bowl of wrestling, and the biggest show of the year, where you see crazy things that you won't see on a normal episode of Monday Night Raw. Instead, it just felt like you know, a Raw SmackDown Super Show with 80,000 people there or whatever. So I mean, the quality of the show, I thought, was a big letdown, and not at the level one would expect for WrestleMania. So I have to say SummerSlam was better, because SummerSlam did have a lot of hype going in, and I felt it delivered. You know, those two main event matches, you couldn't have asked for better matches from those participants. They went all out and gave the best performances possible, and you know, the crowd was into it, and both matches told great stories. So you know, no real complaints. You know, SummerSlam 2013 definitely I thought was a better pay-per-view. Alright, that'll do it for this edition of NoDQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. Subscribe, youtube.com/NoDQ&AW. Check out all the other videos. I posted another edition of NoDQ&A video yesterday with my thoughts on Raw and some more about SummerSlam. And to check out my SummerSlam review video, and check out the photos that I posted from SummerSlam and Raw on facebook.com/NoDQ&ADOTCOM. And that being said, I'll see you guys next time for more NoDQ&A video.